the United States, I think the real issue, if you want to look at it like from modern, I think Jon Stewart, he said this once on his show, and he was interviewing Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter was saying, it's a liberal conservative, but it's like, no, it's not. Like he actually said, like that debate kind of has already been settled. It's about moderation versus extremism. And what's happened in the United States is it's become more polarized in extremes. There's not much of a
moderate left.
The moderate, people have stopped listening to each other. People have stopped compromising with each other. People have said, well, they're this and they're this, and they're not really talking to each other anymore. They're letting other influences manipulate people's opinions one way or the other. And unfortunately, people are profiting from it. That's that's what's going on in the United States. Is what you're seeing is you've seen an investment of time that's been put into dividing the populace of the United States, and it's worked. There's at least two different Americas in the United States, maybe more, right? And it's a matter of just looking at where, like I said, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next 4 years, because I'm like, you still have a very polarized, divided nation and both sides don't feel listened to, and both sides I think are right. But until they actually have that meeting in the middle, I don't see it getting any better. I see it getting worse before it gets better, and that's unfortunate. But that's just how I see it. Everybody's guilty of this to some degree down there, but that's my opinion, just based on what I've seen and how I live down there. So
yeah, I was down there for 3 years in Nevada, and it really struck me odd that here you are, the country has two parties, they're entrenched. And the 2016 election, neither party learned a thing from it.
No.
And there's a whole bunch of progressives looking for a voice. And they're in the Democratic Party, and they're not being heard. And this is why Bernie Sanders keeps running. And the establishment keeps pushing them aside. They're not going to be able to do that. Eventually, what they really need, 2 or 3 more parties, where people can actually, I like this guy as opposed to one of the 2 other choices we've always had. That might open things up a bit. It'll fragment the population a little better, but now no one's going to be able to run with stupid agendas.
That's not true.
It might, because if you have 3 or 4, they're going to have to find some way to compromise to get anything done. Bring that compromise back to what the Republicans and Democrats used to be like back in the 70s and the 60s.
Okay.
I don't think you're going to get that out of the 2 parties anymore.
No, how am I going to put this? I don't think it's about more parties. I look at the fact that I think North America is still, I think ultimately what it is about is ultimately the role of big business in North America, and how it's basically in bed with the politics, not just in the United States, but even here too.
Oh yeah.
Right. So until that changes, that is, I think, the real root of the problem. I mean, okay, United States makes too many guns. I don't think anyone would argue that point. But on the same token, guns are a part of their culture and always will be to some degree. So you can't completely get rid of them. But you also, but who's benefiting from this divide? People that make the weapons. The COVID thing. The insurance companies are making a killing from this, as much as anything else. There's a business. There's a business to how our countries is run, and anyone that says otherwise is kind of lying to themselves. And that's kind of and until that changes, I don't think parties make a difference. I think until we get to the point where we're like, okay, let's go back into investing in our people again, not companies, but people that actually want to do things and change things and make things better. It's not necessarily about the buck. It's about, let's actually make a better world, not let's make money and exploit each other in the name of a better world. I think there's a big difference. And
I said, if you stick with the two parties they got now, I don't see that happening.
There's,
You get
I
some
don't,
multiple parties, you'll have some guys who are going to be able to push that better.
I think down there, I think that like the multiple party thing, it's too little too late. I think at this point, they're stuck until they hit rock bottom. They haven't yet. That's just that, and I mean, heck,
That
that's how it works, right? I mean, look, human nature. We don't change. We don't. Something I learned in the last, like watching things like Amazon and Walmart rise to power. They rose to power because of convenience. Walmart has everything in one stop and it's cheap. It's convenient, even though even though their products are crap, and even though they don't provide, they actually you end up paying more money because this company exists. You lose it in your jobs and you lose it in other hidden ways. Yet people go to Walmart still. Why? It's cheap. Amazon is made a fortune in this last year, right? He is by far one of the richest people, if not the richest, one of the richest people in the world. And the thing is, I mean, he undercuts storefronts, supporting businesses. Like he destroys not just the business sector, but our housing sectors too, right? But he's convenient. We as a culture tend to go with the path of least resistance and most convenience until we have no choice but to change. I've never seen it not go that way until we basically have no choice.
Well,
so